Welcome back students to the class of Pricing and Product Decisions. This is Dr. Shweta Srivastav, Associate Professor, School of Management, BPD University. So let us see what we have covered till now. So in the previous lecture, we have discussed absorption of overheads. So we have discussed how the absorption is done, what is over-absorption, what is under-absorption, what are the repercussions of over and under-absorption. So now let us understand what are the different costing systems. Because every costing system has a different calculation of cost and thereby the selling price and ultimately the profit. So every organization has a different philosophy or a different method to calculate cost in the organization. So we'll start with absorption costing, then activity based costing and then marginal costing. So the costing systems are classified into two. One is full absorption, another is marginal costing. In case of full absorption costing, we have two methods. One is traditional and another is activity based costing. So we have full absorption and here we have marginal costing. This I'll take up afterwards. So let us understand full absorption costing. When I say full absorption costing, it means all the costs are absorbed against revenue. It means all the costs are compensated by revenue and the residue will be treated as profit, as simple as that. So in full absorption costing, we have two types of methods. One is traditional and another is activity based costing. In case of traditional method, we employ the same absorption rate for all the cost, for all the overheads. Like it can be time based as we have discussed in the previous lectures. It can be time based, it can be rate per unit, it can be prime cost, anything. But one rate is applicable to all the categories of overheads. That is why it is not acceptable in the recent times. So in the upcoming lecture, I'll discuss with you what are the reasons for adopting activity based costing. But first of all, let us understand what is the traditional concept of absorption costing. So I'll be explaining this with the help of an example, right? So I'm taking one example where we have two departments, machining department and finishing department. So I'm writing the data for both the departments, that is for the previous 2 months, right? So here we have machining department and here, I should write here, we have machining department and here we have finishing department. So let us write the data of machining department first. So here we have production, overheads, then we have machine hours, then we have direct labor hours, right? So let us write the figures. So this will be again in dollars, again in dollars, again in, this will be in units, number of hours. So this quantity will be in dollars. So we have, for machining department, we have figure $3,40,000, right? And the number of machine hours used by this XYZ job in the last 2 months are machine hours 1,70,000. Now coming to direct labor hours, that is 16,500 hours. So this data is about machining department. So this is the budgeted data, right? Then see, we have to understand the process of over-absorption and under-absorption, right? So this is budgeted data which is actually budgeted by the XYZ job previously. We'll be calculating this data with the actual data so that we can understand the phenomena of over-absorption and under-absorption, and thereby we can understand the drawbacks in the traditional system of absorption costing. So in case of machining department, the budgeted data goes like this. So when we come to finishing department, we have production overheads amounting to $1,20,000. Machine hours 4,200 and direct labor hours are 40,000. Now, we have to understand this is the budgeted data. Now, we have to understand which type of rate we are going to use in machining department and in case of finishing department. Now, look at the data, what it says. See, in the previous lecture, while discussing with you the applicable rates for calculating for allocation of overheads is time based. So I told you that machine hour is as a rate is used in the organization which are capital intensive. It means the production system is dependent on machines or automation. So where we have abundance of machine hours, it indicates that the process is automated or capital intensive. The same goes with the labor intensive industries. If the organization is labor intensive, this will be manifested by the bigger quantity of labor hours and the lesser quantity of machine hours. So now let us look at the data. So here, if we compare between machining department and finishing department, we can see that here we have 1,70,000 machine hours. But in case of finishing department, we have only 4,200. Right? So we can say that what is the applicable rate should be, the overhead should be absorbed on the basis of machine hours, since it is a capital intensive department by the name machining department. Now coming to finishing department. It has 4,200 as machine hours but 40,000 as direct labor hours. This shows that this department is labor intensive. So overheads for this department are absorbed with labor hour rate. So now let us understand how the actual data goes, right? So this is the budgeted data. This is the budgeted data. Now coming to actual data. So actual data of, first of all, machining department, right? So for machining department, the actual production had occurred, CVR will be following the same. So actual production overheads occurred as 3,60,000, right? Actual machine hours occurred means the time took by the machining department is 1,50,000 hours. And how many labor hours? Direct labor hours, that is 18,290. This is again in dollars, right? So this is the actual data for machining department. Now let us move to the actual data of finishing department, right? So in case of finishing department, the actual overheads occurred are 1,29,400, right? So we can see that the budgeted production overhead is at 1,20,000, but actual overhead occurred is $1,29,400. Now the actual machine hours used by the finishing department is 3,900 hours, and the machine hours and budgeted machine hours were 40,000, but the actual machine hours used were 44,100. Right? So this is the whole question, and now let us understand what are the drawbacks or limitations of traditional absorption costing with the help of over-absorption and under-absorption. We have understood in the previous lectures that over and under-absorption are equally detrimental for the fate of an organization. When we have over-absorption of overheads, it means that the actual expenses are less and the budgeted overheads are more. So in a way, what we are doing, we are charging extra cost to that particular product. Thereby there will increase in the selling price, and it will give a tough competition to the product will face tough competition from in the market because the prices are not competitive. The vice versa goes with the say under absorption. In case of under absorption, what happens? The actual expenses are more, but we are charging less. So that affects your profitability. So what I mean to say that both the situations are fatal to the organization. At one instance, we have a fear of losing the market share, and at the other, we have a fear of losing our profits. So let us understand how it happens. So I am moving to the solution, right? So first of all, we have to calculate the applicable overhead rate. It means at what rate the overheads are absorbed in the machining department and in the finishing department. So as I discussed with you that since the machining department has more hours of machine hours, it means that is capital intensive, right? So the overhead absorption rate for machining department, I should write MD, machining department would be total budgeted. So see, total budgeted hours are 3,40,000, and how many hours are budgeted? 1,70,000. So we have $2 per hour. So this is how we are going to absorb the production overheads for machining department. Now let us find out the overhead absorption rate for finishing department. In case of finishing department, the budgeted overhead was 1,20,000, and I told you that in this case we are not using the machine hours. We will be using direct labor hours. So the number of direct labor hours are 40,000. So this gives us $3 per hour. So this is what we have found. This is 1, this is 2. So now let us calculate the means the percentage which is allocated to the production department, to the machining department and finishing department. So as the data says that overhead absorbed, so I'll be calculating first of all for the machining department. So overhead absorbed will be, what should be the formula? Actual hours, actual production hours into overhead absorption rate, right? See how many hours we have actually used in the job XYZ, right? So we have used 1,50,000. So if you remember, we have used, so budgeted machine hours were 1,70,000. But what is the actual, you can say actual number of hours used by the machine departments? That is 1,50,000. So what should be the actual amount of overhead? So that will be calculated as actual hours multiplied by overhead absorption rate. So that will give us 1,50,000 into overhead absorption rate, which we have calculated earlier is $2 per hour. That is into $2 per hour. So that will give us $3 lakh, right? But see what we have allocated. We have allocated what? 3 lakh. If you look at the data earlier, the production of budgeted data shows that we have budgeted what amount? $3,60,000. So actual expenses are $3 lakh, but we are charging $3,60,000. Sorry. So we should write here 3 lakhs and here we should write 3,60,000, right? So what I say? So it means the budgeted shows 3 lakh, right? But actual goes like 3,60,000. So we have under absorption of overhead by 60,000. It means what will happen? The cost will be set low and thereby we have lesser profit, right? So let us understand how the process of over absorption goes. So here we are calculating, this is the budgeted data, this is the actual data, right? So we have a deficit of $60,000 that will affect your profitability. So this is the case of under absorption, right? So now let us understand what is over absorption. So let us move to finishing department, right? Finishing department, right? So finishing department says that actual overheads are absorbed are what? 3 into 44,100 and that will give us a figure of $132,300, right? So I have used the same formula, overhead absorption rate and the number of labor hours. See, in the case of machining department we have used number of machine hours, but since this department is labor intensive we have used the figure of labor hours and this is OAR. I have applied the same formula, right? But only this time rate has changed because of the change in the production system. In case of machine department it was capital intensive and here in the finishing department it is labor intensive. That is why I am using labor hour as the benchmark, right? So that figure comes out as 1,32,300, right? But what were the, this is the you can say absorbed by, these are the you can say standard figures, right? But what are the actual figures? What actual overhead occurred? Actual overhead occurred as $1,29,400. It means we have a surplus of $2,900. Here the situation is almost opposite. We are charging more. And the actual expenses are less. It means the product cost will be escalated by $2,900. So it means, since I told you at the very outset that the floor for setting the price is cost. So since the cost is escalated by $2,900, the prices will also escalate by the same, almost the same proportion. So that will affect our competitiveness in the market. So what I mean to say that in both the cases we are actually charging on the basis of one rate, that is time rate. So we have to understand that whether it is over absorption or under absorption, the situation is equally fatal, equally detrimental. So let us understand what are the reasons for over and under absorption of overheads. The first is, you can say the first reason is the actual, as I told you earlier, that we have seen that actual hours were different and budgeted hours were different. So even if we have calculated the right absorption rate, but since there is a difference in the actual labor hours and the budgeted labor hours, the figures are going to be different. So the first reason for over and under absorption is the difference in the labor hours budgeted and actual. The second is the underutilization of the productive capacity. It means the actual budgeted data says that we have a capacity of producing 100 units, but we are producing only 100 units. So this difference of 200, because when these overhead rates are calculated, they are always calculated on the installed capacity, not on the utilized capacity. So that is how we will have the problem of under absorption and over absorption. Next is seasonal fluctuations in the demand. So because of seasonal fluctuation in demand, what will happen? We will have either increase in the labor hours or machine hours or decrease in the labor hours or machine hours. Like in the case of COVID-19, what is happening? The demand of only essential goods, PPE and medicines are increasing. So there is so much of demand pressure on pharmaceutical and pharma industry that they'll be using, and it is absolutely you can say automated system. So we have larger and larger number of machine hours. So in this situation, the overheads will be actually under absorbed because we have charged less and we are producing more. So that is why another reason for over absorption and under absorption is seasonal fluctuations. Next is error in calculating overhead cost or the volume base, right? So as I told you earlier that we have actually the entire data depends on the forecasted demand. If we have forecasted, the pivot is the demand forecasting. So if the demand forecasting is wrong, the entire data will go haywire. So this rarely happens, but since this is a turbulent world, you cannot calculate the demand accurately. So you are bound to have the problems of under absorption and over absorption. The next is whenever there is a drastic change in the method of production. It means when we are shifting from labor hours to machine hours or machine hours to labor hours. Next is change in the working capacity. If you are going to change the scale of operation, that is small scale to large scale to medium scale, anything like that. So in all such circumstances, the overhead absorption rate is going to be different and we will face the problem of over absorption and under absorption. Now lastly, we have to understand how this problem of over absorption and under absorption is dealt in the accounts. See, generally we know that whenever there is a difference, right? In case of under absorption, what we have done, we have charged less. right? It means that we should charge more in the name of cost, but we are charging less in our profit and loss account. So in case of under absorption, the remaining amount will be deducted from the profit and loss account, right? And the vice versa. If we have over absorption, the over-absorbed amount, it means we are charging more, but the actual expenses are less. So the extra amount will be added back in the profit and loss account, right? But see what is happening nowadays, that there is a frequent fluctuation in you can say demand. So it is very difficult, and the overhead absorption rates are predetermined. This I had discussed in the previous lecture also. Why did we decide these rates at the very outset of the production you can say period? Because the demand fluctuates. So anyhow we have to fix one rate, otherwise it will be difficult for us to prepare account to maintain the cost and cost management. So we generally predetermine the overhead absorption rate, but it has a different problem. When we decide the rate predetermine the rate, what happens? We suffer with the problem of over and under absorption. So what is the way out? So instead of treating under absorption and over absorption at every instance, the organizations create a suspense account. The organizations create a suspense account. If we have charged less, it will be go to the debit side of suspense account, because it is an expense. If we have charged more, it will go to the credit side of the suspense account, because it is an income. So at the end of you can say accounting period, what we will have? The balance will be transferred to the profit and loss account. This will save duplicate accounting entries. So students, this is the end of you can say absorption, you can say traditional system. Now before finally closing this traditional system, let us understand why we have moved to the another system, activity based costing. So let us understand what were the problems with the traditional costing system, where we were using uniform overhead absorption rate, and the rates were pre-decided. So let us understand this. So what were the reasons? Criticism of the traditional system, right? So historically the rates, overhead absorption rates were based on labor hours. This is because the production system was majorly labor intensive, but nowadays the system is automated, so we have to switch to machine hours. Secondly, previously we have mechanisms to since the labor hours were abundant, we have a set practice of recording labor hours, but now that can be attributed to the particular cost units, but nowadays it is not possible because of mechanization, right? Next is costs such as power, machine maintenance and depreciation are becoming larger and more prevalent, only because of one reason, that we are now mechanized, we are automated, and the systems are generally driven by technology. So we have to leave the traditional system, which is based largely on labor hours, and move to the new system that is known as activity based costing. So let us understand activity based costing. So thank you students, this is all for absorption costing. In the next forthcoming lecture, we'll take up activity based costing, why at all we have developed the system of activity based costing, what is the process, and how this process is superior to traditional system. So thank you students, we'll meet again in the next lecture.